Welcome to the Dr. Wyatt Show podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Wyatt Fisher, a licensed psychologist specializing in couples counseling. Today, I'm going to talk about the best relationship advice for couples. When you're in a marriage or you're in a long-term relationship, you want to be happy. You want to have your needs met. You want to feel in love. But unfortunately, a lot of us don't feel that way. And when you don't feel that way, when instead there's a lot of conflict and a lot of hurts and a lot of problems, what do? Where do you start? Today, I'm going to teach you what to do. The first thing you have to do is heal the resentments in your relationship. Long-term relationships always have resentments. It's very, very rare. I've worked with so many couples in my practice, and they always have resentments. That's why they're there. I've worked with engaged couples. They also have resentments. And so resentments are part and parcel to long-term relationships because you have imperfect people rubbing shoulders, hurting each other's feelings intentionally and mostly unintentionally. But when our feelings do get hurt or our needs aren't met, we don't know what to do with those feelings. So often we bury them and we get resentful and we pull away, we detach, we get antagonistic, and none of it's healthy. So if you want some relationship advice for you and your partner, the first thing you have to do is heal your resentments. I designed a tool for this called the REUNITE tool. You can search it on Google. Just type in REUNITE tool. You'll see it at the top. Download that article and you and your partner spend some time reading it, absorbing it, thinking about it. It will teach you a method for how to talk through your resentments. If you still can't talk through your resentments with the tool on your own, then go to my website, drwyattfisher.com, click on coaching, and get some sessions with one of my coaches who can help you work through those resentments. But I focus on resentments first and foremost because nothing else goes well in a relationship when there's active resentments. So you have to start there. Once the resentments are healed, now you can go to number two. And number two is watch for bids. What's a bid? A bid is something that John Gottman has talked a lot about, and a bid is any gesture your partner makes for connection. So for example, maybe they have a desire for quality time. So they'll make a bid by saying, "Hey, honey, we haven't spent much time together lately. Do you want to put the kids down to bed early and maybe cuddle up and watch a program together tonight?" That's a bid. They're making a bid right there with you for quality time. Do you notice your partner's bids? What happens through the years is a lot of times we don't notice the bids, or we get so fed up with resentments that we really don't care about the bids. We become calloused toward our partner's bids. That's why, again, you have to start with resentments. But once resentments are resolved, I encourage you, start looking at your partner's bids. Open your eyes, pay attention, focus. Some other common bids might be a bid for affection. Maybe they kind of rub up against you and because they want affection. Or maybe the bid is for appreciation. And they say, "Hey, yeah, did you notice how I clean the kitchen?" That's a bid for appreciation. Or maybe it's for sexual intimacy. "Hey, honey, how would you feel about having some intimacy tonight?" Or, "Wow, honey, you really look sexy today." That's a bid for sexual intimacy. So the second thing here is watching for bids. You have to start watching for bids from your partner because after the resentments are healed, most likely they're going to start making bids again for connection. When you're full of resentment, often we stop looking for bids and we stop making bids because everything becomes calloused. When resentments are active in a relationship, you and your partner both get calloused toward one another. You really don't care about their needs because they've hurt you. You're upset, you're hurting, you have resentment. So it doesn't work to look at bids when there's active resentments. That's why that comes first. And the second thing is watch for bids. Third step is you need to turn toward the bids. When you notice your partner is making a bid, what do? You have three choices. The first one is turning away from the bid. That's where you don't even notice it's a bid, you ignore the bid. The second option is you turn against the bid. That's the worst you can do. That's when you get angry with them for making the bid. The third option is you turn toward the bid. And that's when you recognize, oh, they're making a bid. And then you actively and intentionally turn toward that bid by meeting that bid. But even when you meet the bid, always consider, how can I meet that bid for connection with them that they're asking for in a way that's also going to work for me? Otherwise, I'm going to resent it. I'm going to be frustrated in it. I'm going to be reluctant during it. And so don't just blindly meet all your partner's bids and lose your voice and lose your identity, because that's not going to be healthy for you. But instead, when they make a bid, think about, how can I respond to that bid in a positive way that's also going to work for me? So let's go back to the example. Your partner says to you, hey, honey, do you want to put the kids down to bed early tonight? We can have some connect time. We can watch a program together. Are you tired of all the miscommunication? Are you tired of getting blindsided with criticism? Are you tired of not expressing how you really feel? The solution is my app, Keep the Glow. It will open up your communication to a whole nother level so that you can cultivate more love and have less fights. Download Keep the Glow today, wherever you get your apps. First thing you should do is recognize, oh, they just made a bid. They're trying to connect with me. That's a bid for quality time. So here's your options. If you turn away from that bid, you don't even acknowledge it. And you say something like this, oh, yep, sorry, I can't. I have to work tonight. That's turning away. You ignore the bid. Here's turning against, where you get angry. I can't spend time with you tonight. Don't you realize I have to work? Someone has to make money here. That's turning against the bid. That's the worst thing you can do. Then here's turning toward the bid. Oh yeah, that would be great to connect with you tonight. I would love that. I have about 30 more minutes of work. Would you mind if I get that wrapped up and then I can help you put the kids down and then we can have some time together? That's turning toward the bid in a way that's also going to work for you. So those are your options. So when your partner makes that bid, remember, you have a choice. You can turn away, which is ignoring it, turn against, which is angry toward it, or you turn toward the bid in a way that's going to work for you. And this leads me to number 4, the fourth point I'm going to talk about with relationship advice for couples. The fourth thing is you want to be thinking about developing a secure attachment with your partner. Think about kids for a moment. If you have children, you can relate to this. Attachment theory says that you're going to develop a secure attachment with your child if you learn to read their signals, their bids, their signals of what they need and how they're feeling, their cues, and then you learn to respond to those signals sensitively and consistently. So think about when your child was really young, when they were an infant, and they would cry. And what would you do as a good parent? You would go to them when they were crying, and then you would figure out, why are they crying? Are they hungry? Are they lonely? Are they dirty? Are they bored? Why is my baby crying? And then I'm tuning into them and I'm starting to learn what their different cries mean. And then I'm meeting that need. And I meet the need and they stop crying. It's the exact same approach with your marriage or with your relationship. It's learning to tune into the cues of your partner. What do they need? What's making them uncomfortable? What are they desiring from you in the relationship? It's watching for it, just like you watch the signals in your kids. And with your kids, if you're a good parent, you learn to tune into those signals and you learn to respond to those signals sensitively and consistently. And when you do that, it creates a secure attachment between you and that child. And that child develops a sense of trust. I can trust this primary caregiver because that primary caregiver tunes into me. They can read my signals. They can read my cues, and they respond to those signals sensitively and consistently over time. And the more they do that, the more I develop a secure attachment with that caregiver. Likewise in marriage. So the more you're tuning into your partner's signals, the more you're responding to their signals, their bids, sensitively and consistently, guess what? You're going to develop a secure attachment with them because they're going to feel trust toward you, that they can trust you to meet those needs, that they're going to be able to trust you to tune into them. And the opposite is also true. So if you have a child who is having signals and maybe they're crying and you're ignoring those signals, you're indifferent to those signals, you're callous to those signals, that child is going to develop a sense of mistrust. They can't trust you to tune into their signals and respond sensitively and consistently. They develop a sense of mistrust. It creates an insecure attachment. And likewise in marriage. So if your partner is expressing bids and you're ignoring those signals, you're indifferent to those signals, you're callous toward those signals and those bids, that's going to create in them a sense of mistrust toward you. And that's going to create an insecure attachment. So the question is, how insecure or secure is your attachment with your partner? And if you want to make it more secure, this is the answer. You start tuning into their bids, and then you start turning toward those bids in ways that are also going to work for you. So this is the best relationship advice for couples. Number one, heal your resentments. Nothing else goes well while you have active resentments. Number two, watch for your partner's bids for connection. Number three, learn to turn toward your partner's bids in a way that's also going to work for you. And number four is develop a secure attachment with your partner by doing everything that was just discussed. Thank you for listening to the Dr. Wyatt Show podcast. For my free resources, click the link in the description. And remember, your marriage is alive. If you care for it and nurture it, it will grow. But if you deprive it and neglect it, it will wilt and die. The choice is up to you. Take care.